Hey everybody, thanks again for clicking the button, tuning in. I wanted to make another video. It's been a while since I've done one. So today I want to talk about right and wrong. What is right and wrong when doing a tennis lesson? Truth is, I really dislike this type of language. When you say to someone, you're doing it the wrong way, or this is the right way to do it. I don't think that type of language is very good. I think it can be extremely dangerous as well. Truth is that there's no right way to do anything in tennis. There's also no wrong way to do anything in tennis. The game of tennis evolves so quickly and changes so fast that we're constantly finding new ways to do things. Now, that something is new doesn't mean it's right or wrong. That it was done a different way before doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just different. You know, there's a lot of different types of players, and not everything is going to fit everyone. You know, you can't just teach one way and say this is the right way to do the forehand or this is the right way to serve a ball. Ideally speaking, we would love everyone to serve with a continental grip, but that's just not the case. And to say that it's wrong to serve with an Eastern grip is not really accurate. When you start removing the words right and wrong from your vocabulary, you'll find that people will start to trust you a lot more, because instinctively people don't trust other people that speak in absolutes, and it's something that I've struggled with in my instruction and in life in general. When you make absolute statements that don't really leave a lot of room for objectivity, you can be looked upon as being almost naive. So it's important to try to remove this sort of language from your instruction. Especially, I mean, one can make the case that you should remove it from your vocabulary in everyday life, but it's especially important. Don't talk to your students and say you shouldn't do this because it's wrong, or oh, you have to do it this way because it's right. Not everybody's the same person, not everybody plays the same way. To give you an example, before the game was a little bit more serve and volley, and now it's a little bit more from the baseline. Should you teach more baseline play, or should you teach serve and volley? If someone's teaching serve and volley, would you say that it's wrong? If someone serves and volleys a lot, should we say that they're playing the wrong way? You know, it's difficult to say. You know, I don't think that language is really accurate. It's not a good thing. Before, people played with more of an Eastern grip. Now it's a little bit more semi-Western and Western. Before Eastern, people played with a more continental grip. So now there's been an evolution or a change in the paradigm of how we hit our strokes. Is one way right? Is one way wrong? Why don't we play all continental anymore? You know, there is no right and wrong. So try to eliminate that from your instruction. If you want to become a better instructor, you have to eliminate that from your instruction. People will trust you more if you use less absolutes. So I got to give you an alternative, right? If you're not going to say right and wrong, how do you correct your students? Well, it's more accurate to say that something is better or worse, in my opinion. So if someone is hitting a serve with an Eastern grip, and they've had success with that all their lives, and they're playing 4-0 tennis. You know, 4-0 tennis is reasonably good tennis, and they're serving with an Eastern grip, and they can hit it pretty hard. How do you get someone away from that? Well, if it's someone that's a little bit older, an adult, then maybe you don't need to. You know, depending on their goal. If their goal is to reach 4-5 and 5-0, then you'll probably need to change it. But if their goal is just to have a good time and maybe make a small improvement in their game, then changing to a continental grip might not add that much to their game. It is better, I would argue, that to hit the serve with a continental grip than an Eastern grip. But it's just better, and so you have to give the person reasons for why it's better. So it's not wrong, it's just better. Same thing with forehands, footwork, pretty much any aspect of tennis that you can think about. If someone's doing it wrong, quote unquote, it's not really wrong, it's just not as good as something else. And so you propose an alternative, and you give them drills and games to work on an alternative which you believe is better. And so if you give them reasons for why you believe it's better, reasons why it is better, then people are really receptive to that. People are more willing to experiment with a change in their game if you tell them what you're doing is not wrong, because you can't tell them it's wrong because they've been using it to some degree of success. You just tell them that there's a better way to do things, and so if they take to the new instruction, if they take to the better form, then great. And you tell them, well, what I say is, let's try it this way. I believe it's better for A, B, and C. And if it doesn't happen to work out for you, or you don't like it, or you don't find it particularly effective, that's fine. We can always fall back, and you can go back to doing what you were doing before. Now, one exception I would make to that is if you're working with children, or somebody that's very young, or somebody that's never played before. If somebody's never played before, or they're young, then you want to try to habituate them into the best possible habits that you can. Best form, best technique. Alright, so you want to try to get them serving with a continental grip from the get-go. You know what I mean? It's easier to weed out bad habits early than it is later on. So if you're really trying to develop a tournament playing, a tournament player, then you're going to have to limit the liabilities that they're going to have. And what that means is trying to give them the best of what you have, the best that we have as tennis instructors. So that also goes back to doing a little professional education and professional development. You need to be aware of what is being done in the teaching world in tennis and what is most effective at the moment. What are people doing that is effective, that is developing players to play very good tennis? And that's tough, but it's something that you're going to have to do, something that you're going to have to research. So I think that pretty much does it for what I wanted to talk about today. To conclude, try to eliminate the words right and wrong from your vocabulary. Those are absolute terms, and people don't really respond well to it. It's sort of you're sort of telling the person that they're doing something wrong, and that creates a power struggle, because the person feels like they're being attacked, and they become very defensive. Instead, it's better to say better or worse. It's more accurate anyway. The truth is, there's no right and wrong. If there was a right and wrong, then everyone in tennis today that plays professional tennis would play the same way. If there was a right serve, everyone would serve the same way. If there was a right forehand, everyone would hit their forehand the same way. And it's just not the case. Everybody has different quirks and hits it different ways, and so it's just more evidence that will support the fact that there is no right and wrong in tennis. There's better, there's worse, there's better and worse for particular reasons, and you have to be aware of it. Again, the only exception I would make for that is if you have someone very young or someone that's never played tennis before, then you can really give them the best of what we're doing right now, as long as you're aware of what is the best of what we're doing right now, what is the most effective. So you got to have a lot of tools in your toolbox. You're going to be working with a lot of different people. Not everybody is the same. Not everybody will respond to the same things. Not everybody's going to be comfortable doing things the same way. So just do your best, and do your best, and keep trying. Every day is a new day to learn something new from your lessons, and to give them something new. All right. Thanks very much.